Hey guys, my name is Segregating and welcome back to another episode of SnowTown here in City Skylines. Guys, last episode we really did expand the infrastructure to our city over the other side of the river, where it's pretty much up and running to the point where we could potentially start thinking about building, I'm about to say a civilization, building the second part of the city over the other side of the river, the first bit of residential and commercial and industrial zoning, and actually get people moving about and working and living there and all that kind of good stuff. But before we do that, there is still a few things that we need to get up and running. The city is now getting to the point where it's going to be pushing and stretching some of the basic infrastructure utilities that we added in at the start of the series. Stuff like our water and our sewage right now. This is the only water source we have within SnowTown, these little water towers. This is the only sewage we have in SnowTown right now. When it comes to garbage, these are the only areas that we have set up. And in terms of power as well, this is all we have. So as we start to expand over this side of the river too, this is when it's going to start begging the question, Seniac, I think it's now time to set up our own dedicated utility areas, our own garbage plant, water treatment plant, sewage plant, power plant, all that kind of jazz, because garbage over here is going to take so long for the trucks to make their way over to pick up the garbage from over here. So we had like a dedicated area for each side of the river to begin with. Then I think we're ready to progress and we won't see any issues arising. Plus, I do need to sort out this sewage too. It looks terrible right now. So as always, guys, if you do enjoy SnowTown and want to see more in the future, then please make sure you smash the like button down below. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe so you're notified when that next episode comes out. Now, we're going to take a look at setting up the utilities for this side of the river first, because they're already set up. They're not great. I will delete them and add in our own plants, but for now, we've implemented them in and they're working for this side. So there's no point me deleting these, rebuilding new bases over here, when still we have nothing set up for this side of the river at the moment. At least we got something over that side. We've used this little strip of island here for our little export area, which is perfect for getting the cargo out from our oil industry. And I thought, why don't I utilize this island a bit more to place down some of our services, like, the utilities, water, sewage, all that kind of jazz, which I think is a really good idea. I think we're going to start then with a garbage plant. And once you get that set up, we'll then think about sorting out our water treatment plant as well. I want to utilize these roads just here. I want to bring them over to there. Only a couple of them, because it's going to be still quite a drive to go right down there, out, come back up. We can just quickly utilize them in. And because they're going to be linked up to this 4-lane road and good highway connections, it should be pretty sweet to getting things all set up. So, we'll start with this road to begin with, and we'll bring it out, and we'll bring it up by 40. And I'll also bring this one up by 40 as well. These will be the two roads that kind of pass themselves over. So to get up to the very end here, it's going to be about 5-10ish. So what we'll do straight away, not tunnel, we'll go bridge. Bridge mode, 40 across. And then bridge mode, 40 across there. Now I could just simply go, bam, straight road down. But I ain't about that thug life at the minute. We'll try and do something a little bit different. So what we'll do is I'll bring this out by another 5. And then I'll bring this down in a diagonal. Like this by 120. Then what I'll do, I'll delete that little section. Delete it back a bit there. And we'll create a nice little bend. So that'll be a 5. Ooh, snap. Right, it's going to be a 5 by 5, but I got to do it gracefully. There we go. And then go straight down to there. And then we'll have a road that would come up so far here. So I'm coming by 30 there. And then I can bend this out. So a 7 by 7. Bam. And that is 2 really good solid roads that kind of cross over that little river. Get to this area where we can set up our plants. Or the beginning of the plants anyway. So this little section here, because we kind of now like divided it into a little area, we'll set this up to being a little garbage plant. So again, good access straight across the river, hooking up to, you know, the highways if we need. So you can kind of turn off, drive straight down to drop the garbage in the plant, and then simply come up, go straight in, hit the highway, or just simply drive straight in to serve this downtown area, depending on where it really wants to go. So we're going to take a look at our garbage setup anyway. What are we going to be using to process the trash in SnowTown? Now I'm going to set up I'm going to kind of do the best of both worlds. We're going to have a couple of recycling centers, and I will set up a couple of incinerators as well, just because it can create the power that we need. We're not going to go fully green in SnowTown. I don't feel like that is the vibe of the city that we're currently building. So we will set up a couple of incinerators, plants there. And we will get we do have the waste complex facilities, which, as good as they are, I do find them annoying to use. So let's kind of build something then. We've got a little bit of a bump in the road, which I think is quite cool. So let's pick out then. We'll come off this road here. And we'll bring this up by 15, cut straight in. So that becomes our little area. And then we'll go up by 20. So that is a full 40. So if I go by 20 there, what would a 20 by 20 bend be like here at this point? There we go, to kind of like close all that down. And then if we do a 10 by 10 there and a 10 by 10 there. So we've got a nice little section set up. So the connections to get in here are off the beaten track. I could actually connect it in there and delete this. So it keeps this junction free flowing. That'd probably be the better method for me to go down. And we'll start then with... Right, we got the waste complex. Do I go for these? I mean, they're not too expensive to upkeep. This one's expensive to upkeep. It does produce power as well. That is a huge plant if I've ever seen one in my life. That is huge right now. I mean, I could drop this in, but then you have to place them, you know, dot them around the cities, and I don't really want to do that. So I think we'll go with the large recycling center then. We'll place a few of these in because they are, you know, perfect size to squeeze in just here. So if I did one there and one just there, and then what we'll do is we'll drop down a couple of incinerators that will pick up the slack for us. Right, what we'll do is we'll bring this down by 5 there, bring that down by 5 here, and place these just in on the corners like that. So we'll go with that for now, because it leaves us with loads of room for potential expansions of the garbage processing plant. So it does give us all those little room for expansions if we need it to, you know, need that to happen. I'll just set up now then the water grid. For now. And we'll bring that straight down to here, straight down there. So it's got the water. It'll eventually have its own power when these incinerators start producing processing the garbage. They'll start producing power. So I'll leave it just for a moment. So that will be the start of our little garbage plant over on this side of the river. So that takes care of that. We've also got to do the water. We've also got to do the sewage. And we do have to do the power as well. Now, we'll be reconfiguring this whole little setup there. But for now, what we'll do is we'll continue to extend this. So that comes out by 48. So it's not perfectly smack bang in line. So what I could do is actually delete that. Right. Stick this out by 50. Stick that out by 50. So we've got like a nice more of a perfect style grid. And then we'll bend or try and start bending the road slightly round. So if I came out by 10 and then went like this way, we'll like go diagonal, which will then get us to go down here like that. And I'll set up some bends for these roads. So delete you, delete you. Delete you, delete you. I've just realised I've just deleted some power on that little shipping area. So let me just get that back in. There we go. And then add these little bends in. So a 10. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze there, wasn't it? So it's a 10 by 10. Simple bend. And then what we're doing up here then. So that is a 10 by 9 versus a 9. Ooh, right, delete that one. 9 by 9. So that flows like that. And again, what it's basically doing is it's dividing this little island up. So we've got a square there for something else. We've got this long section here for something else, keeping this separated too. So this side here we'll set up as our water treatment plant because it's by the river. We can have water flowing into the water pumps. And then here we can set up as our power plant. And then that is pretty much what I need to take care of for the most part, isn't it? Water, sewage, and power. And it keeps them, this section here, free flowing for the export. I mean, I redesigned this anyway, but for now, it's pretty good. Keeps it all segregated and separate. I like it. So, water. Should we do water first or power? Let's do the water first then. So, how we're going to think about doing it is having water pumps coming in. So, water flowing in, gets sucked up, and then sewage pumping out, but we also want to make sure that we're cleaning the water. So I might go for the basins. I might go for the advanced, water treatment plants. We could, isn't it one of them provides drinking water as well, doesn't it? Yeah, a drain capacity there. That one does water treatment plant, extend the water services, building processes, and drains wastewater back into the ground, and plants surrounding will be affected by ground pollution. Whereas this one extends the water services by processing back to the ground. Okay, they're the eco-friendly ones. I'm sure there was one that kind of created water as well. I could be wrong. I can't quite remember. But yeah. So I think what we'll do then, we'll go with the pumps. And so what does that do? Is that a drain capacity? That's a inland water treatment plant. That is an advanced one. So is it just a bigger drain capacity? Hold on. They're both the same number, but let me just hook this up. Yeah, it's only for drain capacity. I thought there was like a drink. Isn't there a drinking water one? Is it this one? Sewage treatment plant. It's a modded one, this is. Now, doesn't that provide us with clean drinking water? Or not? I think it does, but I think they need power, don't they? But hold on a quick minute. So give them the power, so they're yeah, okay, it does. Right, okay, I get the gist of it, but I don't want to use it like that anyway. I could if I wanted to. I want to have some form of like inlet water, which means we have to do some slight landscaping. So, I'm not going to go too crazy. I ain't going too crazy. But let's up the brush size and we'll pick about there. And we'll try and get it somewhat in line with the road. It's not going to be perfect. So we'll have pumping stations either side. Let me bring that brush size down again. pumping stations either side, pumping the water as it comes in. And then we would want to create, and then like a sewage complex. I mean, I'm going to use the basins anyway, so I don't really need it. Well, I do need to pump out water. So if I turn it to go this way, I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to trim this off a bit. So if that went like that, and I'll just give it time for the water to flow through, because we've got to, I've got to set it up in a certain manner, and I'll give it time for water to now pass through it. And it will cause a little bit of flooding now. Well, that's another point as well. Which way is the river flowing? So it's okay. So it is coming in from this direction, and then it also comes in slight. No, it is slightly going out that direction, but it's not enough to create a huge flow. So we'll have to naturally get it sorted. So reset the sea level real quick. Right. Okay. So, water pumps then. Now, do I go for the big boy? Probably makes sense, but then again, do I want to first set up the key walls? I could have done it with a canal. Can you, Yeah, I can undo it. It's probably better to do it with a canal system. Right, I'm going to pause. Because then I can literally actually go quite wide. I could have it then. Let me reset the sea level. I can have it parallel with the road. I mean, that's a bit too wide, isn't it? And then, can you do a bend in the canal? Oh, you literally can. 15 by 15. There creates that kind of method, which I could probably do with it going out a bit more. Or turn it like that, so it flowed a bit better. Right, can you slope this as if it was like a road? Yes. Yes, you can. Now, I don't know how I would feel about this. This is the first time I've built, you know, something like this in this kind of method. So this is interesting. So the water flows in. It's a bit funky here, isn't it? So let me delete that to there. So there maybe, so we do create like a little outlet. And I've got to give it time for the water to try and settle. That becomes a little bit of a flow in. And then the water side of it then. So pumps, I can place pumps down. So I'll place a pump here, a pump there, and a pump there. So 3 pumps on that one side. Okay. And let's get these connected. Right. They do need water, power, sorry. So So that will just suck in the water from both sides. So there you go. It creates that inlet. Because the problem was if I only had it like come in and stop, the end pump wouldn't get anything. So at least it's now sucking in the water. And then for the basins, they need road access, I believe. So I could, do you know, I could use these eco-friendly ones. That wouldn't be such a bad idea. Right. So I'm also trying to think. If it went like this and then down. So a 7. We'll go this way. 8 by 8. A little bend in there. And if it went like that, continuing the bend going round, 7 by 7. And we'll delete that there. I won't go any further with that. And then how big are those buildings then? So play mode now like normal. So we got the inland water treatment plant. Right. Which is that big. Which has a draining capacity of 60,000. Or we have this 160,000. So if I just drop that there for a second, I just want to see the spacing that I've got to work with. Right, where's the connections go across that way? So have I got enough room to then to place, yeah, another one down here. Right. So I'll just bring that to there for a minute. Come out by 10. Right. Okay. And they're the eco ones that I'm using. So I have room to place another one down there. And another one down here. Now is that good enough spacing? Do I keep it like that? They're the sewage little section. I'm going to sort some of this ramping and slope stuff out. But it gives me room for expansions all the way around the edges. I've probably got way more sewage than I need. But it's there if I need it. Now power, I don't know if it's starting to produce the power yet. This, 1 megawatt, which is not enough. But we don't really have anything over here yet to warrant it being all up and running. But let me see what I can do here then. So if I raise this slightly, let me just sort out some of the terraforming. So bring the brush size down. We'll try and smoothen it first. Let's see what we get out of that. So let's smoothen this edges off here so it all kind of filters round. There we go. Same on this side. There we go. Looks a little bit better, that does, doesn't it? Yeah. So the main thing is then, is traffic-wise. I know we're not going to have a lot of traffic in this area, only for the garbage section, but it keeps it off the main junctions, which is pretty good. So all I'm missing now then is our little power plant area. So smoothing this little section. Now, we've got a few options in terms of power we can kind of go with. We have been using those solar plants, which has been pretty handy. Do I keep it to that, or should I go for like a geothermal plant? How much is a geothermal plant? 80 watts. This does quite a bit more. Yeah, so just like this as well. That is technically 50 across. Let me find the 25 mark. There we go. So that's centered here. So if that's centered, that goes up by 10, right? Yeah. So how big is one of these? So if I just drop that there. So I've now gone up by 14. It's 16 to go across that way. So 15 that way, 15 that way is enough for these. I'm going to flip that round on the opposite side. So I've got 2 of these solar plants placed down here. And I got room over there to do some future expansions if I need to as well. Well, I could just throw it down straight away, couldn't I? So if I came up by 10, dropped one more there, one more there. So it is a lot that I've placed down, a lot of this stuff, but it should future-proof us in the long run, right? It should future-proof us. So I ain't got to do too much. I got a little bit of space there for other different types of plants. But there we go. That's looking pretty mighty fine. The water's settled down there. That's because those are pretty much turned off anyway. So I've got to get the power pushing over to them. So we'll just go something as simple as straight over like that, which will provide the power to that. And in this area is pretty much ready to rock and roll for the most of it, isn't it? So now it's got exactly what it needs. I can then start to build up these areas. And we know we've got the garbage, we've got the power, you know, the sewage, the water on this side. Eventually this side is going to need its own version of what we just built there. But I can do that at any time right now. Right, the water is actually connected. It is connected over, so I could technically delete this to start polluting. I'll leave the water as it is for now, but just to simply stop us polluting the ground, the river. That's now in. And this is actually pretty exciting. So it's got the water pumping capacity in the millions there, 1.5 million. It's a nice little flow in. So we know naturally the river comes down this way. As slow as the flow is, it comes down, funnels into there, and then pumps straight back out. Not much is really going to change in the flow. I wonder if much changes on the flow. Let's fast forward now. So now we've done those slight changes. Let's just kind of see what naturally happens. So yeah, I think it has naturally just changed the flow of this because we're now sucking water up. Just bringing it in, but the river's got like a stronger flow to it than it once had before. But there we go. This little island is now up and running for utilities, ready for us to rock and roll. Good access to this little downtown area that will eventually become to fruition in the next few episodes. Good little connection to the highway, which is quite exciting. And we've utilized what would be a negative island in terms of vanity, leisure, health, whatnot, because of the nature of what it's near and the export area there. We've now added something quite useful to it. I do like the little bend here for the sewage treatment as well. That's quite exciting, and we can utilize that somewhere on this side as well. Maybe one of these islands could be its very own version over there, or maybe just add it to the mainland section. I don't know. But it's pretty much there, up and running. It's quite expensive to run it, but we do have the money in the bank right now. Unemployment, what we at now at this point? Only 3%, which sparks us interest for adding in more stuff as the time goes on. But next episode, we'll start working with our downtown vibes over here and see how it all comes together before we do eventually build our own utility versions over there. But slowly, catchy monkey. I don't know what it means. It just felt right to say it at that moment. But anyway, guys, we are going to end it for here. I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, good. Bye.